comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Come and join with the angel song. Rejoice.
Okay.
Rejoice. Unto us a son is born, the light of life has dawned, the hope of...
So I've got some COVID appropriate Christmas jokes for you. Did you hear that production was down at Santa's workshop? Many of his workers had to elf isolate. Why didn't Mary and Joseph make it to Bethlehem? All Virgin flights were cancelled. Why are elves reindeer allowed to travel Christmas Eve? Because they have herd immunity. Why did the pirates have to go into lockdown? Because of the R rate had risen. Why is it best to think of 2020 a bit like a panto? Because eventually it's behind you. Why couldn't Mary and Joseph join their work conference call? Because there was no Zoom at the inn.
So for me, I've chosen Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Rea, because to me it creates a really happy memory. When my children were little, I used to get them in their little onesies, put them in the car and wrap them in fleecy blankets, and then get all our parcels and our presents and put them in the back of the car and drive the 2 hours to see my mum and my dad. And I know this year this might not happen, and that's why it's taken me a long time to record this, because I have cried twice. Because this year we might not be meeting our loved ones, and we might not be having that time all together squashed into a house around a Christmas tree. But with Skype and with Zoom and loads of other medias, we can actually still be together. And for that I am very, very grateful. But why does home have such a great feeling? Why does home create that sense of joy and happiness as we think about it? Growing up, we had a big Savannah car. And when we used to go out for the day out, at the end of the day, we'd all go back into the car, and Dad used to lay down all the seats. This was before seat belts, obviously. Lay down all the seats, and we'd use our picnic blankets, and we'd use our picnic bags, and we would use coats and cardigans to create a big bed. And all 5 of us would just lay at the back of there, and we'd be just trying to snuggle up, and we'd fall fast asleep as Dad had Radio 4 on and the heating on full blast. And as we fell asleep in the car, we'd sleep all the way. It didn't matter how far away it was, it didn't matter where it was, around roundabouts and through lights and anything, any towns and cities, we would be fast asleep. But there'd be one turning, the turning of home. And as we turned the corner and went up the hill towards our house, all of us woke up and would go, we're home. There's a sense, there's a feeling of turning off and coming home. So this Christmas, I'm praying for the people who are coming home, people who haven't been to church for a while, people who are on the edge. I pray that they'll have a sense of coming home, a sense of that feeling of turning the corner and going up the hill and waking up, and to that feeling of coming home. So this Christmas, if there's people in your life who are family, friends, or if they're from church or anywhere else who are away from home, maybe in their hearts or their minds or in their emotions, wherever they are, I pray this Christmas that we'll pray for them to come home. So this Christmas, join me in praying for that sense of feeling of home. And I pray that you will have a great sense of home as well in your family. And I also pray that God will help us create that sense of home and that feeling of security and happiness in our families, in our homes. So I'm praying for you this Christmas that you will have a brilliant Christmas and enjoy this song and sing along with it as top as you can. And if we ever have a Activate at Christmas, I promise you this will be my karaoke song. Happy Christmas, everyone.
But I couldn't let this series go by without mentioning some of those lovely times we used to have singing at primary school. Well, it was junior school then for us, and infant school. I had the most wonderful music teacher, Mrs. Mansfield, who used to teach us all recorder. She used to teach us every day singing for assembly. She used to be such an inspiration, and she was such a lovely teacher, and we did lots and lots of music at my junior school, and it was really, really good. And I just hope that music becomes a bigger part of the curriculum for junior schools and primary schools, because it's so good and it's so fun to play together and sing together, and used to be part of the string group and the area orchestra and all sorts of things. And I used to enter recorder competitions. I don't know if anybody has done this, but I used to go to the Burton Music Festival every year at Easter, and we'd play recorded duets and solos, descant solos, treble, tenor, and all those different recorders that you could play. Anyway, I remember the choir, and we were very proud of how we managed to do the Christmas songs, because several of us would sing the descant part. And the descant part, if you know about choirs, is a really high part of some of the songs, like "O Come All Ye Faithful," "O Little Town of Bethlehem." If you hear some proper choir singing those, you can hear the very high notes in the background. And I did used to sing them then, but now I just sound hideous singing them. Sometimes when I'm in church and I feel really confident at Christmas, I think, I'm going to sing those descant parts. And half of me thinks, I think it sounds good, and half of me wonders if it's really out of tune. And I have to let you in on a secret that once I recorded myself singing some of the descant parts just to see how it actually sounded, and it was so flat and so awful, and I couldn't believe I'd ever actually thought I could sing these parts. And I think what's happened is, over the years, apparently your voice gets deeper, and when I was trying to do my grade 5 piano exam, I never managed to do it, because I was at the stage of when my piano teacher said my voice was breaking, and I was so mortified by this. I didn't know that women's voices break, but apparently they do. So I'm guessing that I've just now got a much deeper voice, and that's why I can't sing the descant parts anymore. So anyway, it's a funny story about singing the descant parts. I hope you enjoy listening to people who can sing those parts, and it's amazing if you can still sing those high notes. But it's little songs like Little Town of Bethlehem, Little Donkey, and I remember singing a song called Wind Through the Olive Trees. And it's all thanks to my lovely music teacher of junior school times that I've got a love for these songs. So if you want to have a look at any of them, try and find them. Wind Through the Olive Trees, I don't sing anymore, and I don't think anybody else does it anywhere. But if you can find it, I'll try and find a link. It's such a lovely song, and I used to sing it as a lullaby to my children when they were going to sleep at any time of the year, because it was such a nice melody. I won't try and sing it to you now, because I have just explained I don't think my singing is quite up to scratch anymore. If you remember back in the 80s, the A-Team, you'll remember the phrase, "I love it when a plan comes together." And that's how I feel about the soundtrack for this Activate Click event. Basically, the Comfort and Joy song that you hear on all the intro tracks, and you'll be able to listen to on this particular episode, is all recorded by a group called Joyful Noise. And they only set up during lockdown, I believe, and it features one of the students that used to go to my husband's school. And he came home from school just last week or the week before and said, "Oh, there's a really nice song, I'll send you the link, you might be able to use it for your Activate thing." And I hadn't even asked him to look out for songs, and I didn't even think I'd really mentioned Christmas Island Discs, but obviously I had, and being a wonderful husband, he'd listened and thought about it and thought, oh, how can I help? And then I didn't really realise it either, but Rhiannon was looking for some better music that we could find to go along the intro track, and when we contacted them, they offered us the use of it free. So it was a lovely blessing for us, just as we were putting all these videos together. So I just wanted to thank Joyful Noise and Sarah Beattie, and the fact that they were so generous to give their track to us. So if you'd like to go and have a look at their website, have a look at some of the other songs on YouTube that they've recorded, I know that'll be great. You'll probably be really blessed by hearing some of their other worship music. So that's the story behind the soundtrack. to this Christmas Island Discs, and I hope you enjoy listening to the full version.
I hope you really enjoyed that session tonight. If you were watching this live, please comment below and chat to some of the team. And if you're watching some catch up, again, you can comment to the team or get in touch with you as soon as they can. Have a really great evening.
With the angel song, rejoice.